After finding out that Kevin's first-round matchup would be Clarissa Pratt, the top student from the Central Alternative Healing Academy, his classmates began to mock him and convince him to quit the martial arts competition. However, Dalton came to his defense and encouraged Kevin, even placing a bet of $1 million for him to win on plus 2,700 odds. This spurred Kevin's determination to win in order to reward Dalton for his belief and to prove everyone else wrong. On his way to the Purple Arena, Kevin was so locked in with his thoughts that he almost walked towards the wrong arena, despite already being directed there by Professor Murdoch. This made many people in the crowd laugh at him, and even he had an awkward expression on his face when this happened. Nonetheless, Kevin quickly shook it off as he took a deep breath to compose himself before entering the Purple Arena. At that moment, Clarissa was already waiting for him at the other end. She looked at Kevin with a serious face, then shifted her gaze towards the tall wooden poles between them. Clarissa wasn't expecting that they would have to fight while standing on these wooden poles. Although she was well-versed in martial arts and knife fighting through her training at the Central Alternative Healing Academy, everything she learned had focused on drawing one's strength from the ground. Now both of them had to stand high above the ground with just barely any space for their feet to rest on. Furthermore, each wooden pole was covered with a thick layer of grease, making it harder for people to stand firmly on it. And such, once they got on the poles and the signal to start was given, neither of them took the initiative to attack right from the get-go. "Kevin, I admire your bravery to take part in this competition. I'm sure you'll be a worthy first opponent. I hope you can let me fight to my heart's content today," Clarissa said in a low voice. In her eyes, there was only the dagger in her hand and the opponent in front of her. "You're not bad yourself. I've heard good things about your training as well." Kevin's expression was very serious. He could clearly see that Clarissa was very fit and kept her body in shape. And like a sharp dagger hidden beneath its sheath, she possessed the gaze of a fierce tiger ready to pounce. Thus, he knew not to take her respectfulness as a sign of weakness. "I've never fought with an unarmed person. Please take out your dagger before we start." Clarissa didn't look down on Kevin in spite of his reputation as a useless son-in-law of the Jones family. On the contrary, what mattered to her was his fighting skills that she had heard about, and the opportunity to test herself against him made her cherish such an opponent. "All right, as you wish." Kevin nodded as he drew the night dagger from his pocket. As soon as he did this, Clarissa suddenly made her move within a blink of an eye. Other than the powerful people on the platform and some of the professors amongst the crowd, no one could see how swiftly she drew her own dagger and jumped up high into the air. This immediately attracted everyone's attention as they praised Clarissa's skills. "Damn, Clarissa is so strong," someone exclaimed. "She's indeed worthy of being her school's top student. If this sets the tone for the rest of their fight, she'll definitely crush that good-for-nothing son-in-law, right?" Another person wondered as he watched Clarissa in awe. "The gap between those two is really huge. It seems like there's going to be no suspense at all in this battle. That piece of trash Kevin will definitely lose," the onlooker beside him mocked. Even those who had witnessed Kevin's fighting skills during previous encounters couldn't help but shake their heads. With just one move, Clarissa's performance had already convinced everyone of the outcome. Meanwhile, as he watched this scene unfold in front of him, all the hair on Kevin's body suddenly stood up in fear. He instinctively turned around and used his hands to protect his back. "Everyone look! Clarissa has already taken the initiative to strike first. Can Kevin block her attack?" the host loudly remarked. In the next second, a clear sound was heard across the entire venue as the crowd gasped around them. At the same time, Clarissa's eyes widened with surprise. As she landed on the wooden pole behind Kevin, she complimented him. "I'm impressed by your quick reflexes. You managed to block my dagger strike to your back." "Not bad, right?" Kevin smiled, trying to hide the worry on his face. "Unfortunately, this is a battle, so we can't be too friendly any longer." Clarissa's voice fell. She then used her dagger to cut down the wooden pole that Kevin had been standing on. Immediately after, the wooden pole broke apart, forcing him to jump onto another pole. Because he did this quite abruptly, he almost slipped upon landing. Luckily, he managed to regain his balance before Clarissa made any further moves.
Each wooden pole in the purple arena is 15 feet tall. According to the rules, whoever lands on the ground first will be the loser, the host explained.
At just that moment, Kevin began to take things more seriously. If he wanted to stand a chance against Clarissa, he had to quickly come up with something. He then decided to knock down a couple of wooden poles beside him to distance himself from her, kicking one with his right leg and hitting another with his left hand. This seemed to have made him regain his confidence in competitive fire. "You're very strong. Looks like you're ready to fight me now." Clarissa, who had retreated a few steps, slightly smirked at Kevin. "Let me see how good you are then." This time it was Kevin who made the first move as he jumped into the air and charged towards Clarissa. "Good," Clarissa shouted excitedly. She held her dagger tightly and followed suit. Their two daggers clashed in the air, creating intense sparks. As their sparring continued, their moves were so in sync that it seemed as if Kevin and Clarissa had known each other for a long time. With one blocking the other and vice versa, they were evenly matched for some time. Watching from the highest platform, Wayne Ford and Paul Vaughn from the Central Alternative Healing Academy couldn't help but nod their heads while their eyes were fixed on the two people fighting in the arena.
"You've really trained a good student, Paul. Clarissa's skills are already truly special. If she continues to train hard, the sky's the limit for her potential,"
Wayne praised with some envy.
"You flatter me too much, Wayne. Same goes for your student."
Although Paul had a slight smile on his face, there was a strong trace of worry in the depths of his eyes. He could only relax and brag if Clarissa was declared the victor over Kevin. Back at the Purple Arena, Kevin and Clarissa had briefly separated. Clarissa was panting heavily as she tried to catch her breath. She looked at Kevin with eyes full of determination. Clarissa was only a teenager when she started studying at the Central Alternative Healing Academy. She had been training directly under her mentor, Paul, who was the headmaster of the organization. Through hard work and dedication, she slowly earned her reputation as his top student in martial arts and knife fighting. Thus, there was a lot at stake here for the both of them in terms of proving that the Central Alternative Healing Academy was not just a top 10 organization, but the best of them all. However, despite Clarissa's years of experience and achievements over Kevin, she began to feel that it was going to be difficult to defeat him for some reason. "That's it. Playtime is over. I have to get serious now." After Clarissa said this, she closed her eyes as her dagger suddenly slipped from her hand and landed right between her feet.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.